All right, so we are now on box number 2 of my game collection. So I wanted to point out, I'm recording all these just on my cell phone because I haven't found my AV box yet. That's still packed somewhere in the garage and apparently in the far corner with all the other boxes in front of it. So if you've been listening to the podcast, it's really echoey because I'm using just these little headsets, and then my game or my office is still empty as well, so I'm sure it is sounding a little bit more echoey anyways. I mean, the cell phone is working out not too bad. So now we're on box number 2. So in box number 2, let me put this over on this side here. I have Carcassonne, the dice game. This, you know what, I gotta say, I haven't played this so many times. I just love the look of the little tin can here. So it's in a tin box in the shape of a little meeple. And there's dice in there that's, some will have like certain symbols, like a meeple symbol or a different symbol, and some is just have like those little shape that kind of to form a Carcassonne city. And you roll the dice trying to form your little city, and you can stop when you form something and take the points for it. So it's a cute game. I mean, to me, it doesn't replace Carcassonne at all. I much prefer Carcassonne, but this box is just, I'm going to keep this game forever just for this tin can alone. So that was the first one in this one. Then I have Saboteur. This one is a neat hidden trader game. So basically you're placing these cards, building this tunnel, trying to get to the bottom so that you can collect what you need to collect. But one of you is not actually part of the team and will kind of play cards that kind of sends people to, you're like, what did you play that for? Are you the saboteur? Is like, sorry, that's the only card I have in my hand. Or is it? Neat little game. It plays 3 to 10 people, so it plays a big group. I've played this with my kids. And okay, so I was forcing them to play. So the one kid's playing like he's a saboteur, even though he wasn't. Kind of totally wrecked the game. So I may not want to play this with my kids again, but played it with a bunch of adults, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, so Saboteur. So that's a little card game that I own. Then I have Jaipur. Now this one is a small version that I received as a birthday gift. And it's a 2-player trading game, and it was really neat. I really enjoyed it. I've only played it the one time so far with my sister, but it was really cool. Then I have Poop the Game Party Edition. So there's another one possibly in here, possibly in another box. But this is a little card game, and you play a toilet, and the toilet has a number on it. And then everybody takes turn playing poop onto it, and each of the poops have different number value onto it, and you don't want to be the one that goes above the number of the toilet, because then you clogged it and then you got to pick everything up. And the goal is to be the first player to get rid of all their cards. So that's Poop the Game. Then I have Star Realms Colony War. So I have the Star Realms in the box that comes with the 4-player version, and this is actually just a 2-player one. But Star Realms is one of our favorite deck builder game, and it's one that the kids will oftenly ask to take to school and stuff to play with their friends. So this is a copy that kind of travels around. So this is one of our copies of Star Realms. I have Star Trek Flux. So we watched a Star Trek series, like the original 70s series, a little while back. And ever since, I started kind of collecting Star Trek games. So we have Flux. There's a few other ones in the collection that you'll see in the future videos. And with Flux, it's such a simple game. So you draw a card, you play a card, but until you have like cards that'll be like, oh no, actually now you draw 3 cards, or you get to play 4 cards, or different things. So the game kind of changes as you go, and the goal is there'll be a goal card that you can play that says if you have this and this in your tableau, you win. So this one is neat. We've played this quite a bit. And sometimes it's a super quick game, sometimes it's a longer game. But yeah, so Star Trek Flux. There we go. What else we have in here? I have Lost in Rillier. This is a Cthulhu themed game. I've only played it the one time, and I was playing it by myself just to learn how to play the game, and it was really cool. So I definitely want to get this to the table and play it with other people. And then this one is, there's no winner. You kind of keep playing until you get one loser. And you're trying to escape this city, really, I guess, that's getting consumed by Cthulhu. So it's a really neat game. It's a tin can. I don't always love tin cans. This one's like all embossed and stuff. It looks good. But yeah, so Lost in Rillier. And then I have, these are just regular decks of cards. This one was like a little poop. I don't know why we have so many poop stuff. I guess because I have boys. And these ones are like really nice, slippery, kind of golden cards, and it's neat for shuffling because they shuffle like nothing. But then you're dealing and then they slide. So I've got a lot of just deck of cards. I'm an Acadian, grew up playing cards all the time, so I have a lot of these. Then I have Party Pizza. This is a dice game. And it's cute because the cards are in a little shape of a pizza slice, and you flip it over and there's different symbols, and then everybody just rolls their dice until they match what this slice of pizza requires, and then you get to collect the slice. And then you play until so many slices have been drawn, and then whoever has the most slices is the winner. So we got this from my sister-in-law for Christmas a little while ago, and it's just a cute themed game. Pizza Party. Then I have another deck of cards. And I also have, okay, let's pull these ones out. So I have Roll For It. This is probably my most played game ever because it's such an easy, simple game to teach and play. Everybody gets 6 dice and all different colors, and these dice are tiny, but they're so cute. And then you have 3 cards that are showing, and then you got to try to roll to match the symbol. Now you can assign your dice to cards, and if their dice is assigned to a card, then it kind of has to stay there until you've matched everything that's on the card. Then you get to draw the card, and they're worth so many points. And whoever gets so many points, reach a certain number of points, is the winner. So Roll For It. It comes in this one. There's also a red box version that has like different colored dice, and then you could combine them because this will play 4. So if you have both, you could play 8. I have Phase 10, which is basically, what is this, like 13 Down, which is like a version of Crazy 8, but you know, so it's more just a card game that's rummy type card game with a challenge and exciting twist. So I think every round you got like a different goal of what you're trying to accomplish to get rid of your cards. So it was neat. Then I have Dose. My son, my youngest son, Patrick, is in love with Uno. That's like the only game he'll ever play. So we got him all different type of Uno type game. Dose being one of them. Now Dose definitely plays different. The rule set is very different. I would say it's a lot more complicated in comparison to Uno. You know, it's not that it's a difficult game, but it definitely changes the rules. It's the same type of card as Uno, but it plays different. So, Dose. And then I have Uno Flip. And Uno Flip is cute because you got like the regular Uno cards on one side, and then you got on the other side like the funky colors with the teal and the orange and the purple. And there'll be a card that flips the deck. So then you would flip the deck and you take your cards in your hand and you flip the cards in your hand, and it kind of changes everything. And it's like, oh, geez, I was about to win now. I have different cards. And it's interesting. This is one that I, you know, for Uno, I do enjoy the Uno Flip. And it's one that my kid enjoyed as well. Because, you know, it's an Uno game. So he likes that one. As well, I've got like a tiny little Skip-Bo deck that is just tiny little cards. But Skip-Bo is... If I had to play like a regular card game like Uno, I would much rather play Skip-Bo. Skip-Bo is my favorite when it comes to those type of card games. But and then we have a few because we don't normally play with this tiny little one. So tiny Skip-Bo. Then I have a couple of these actually, and these actually hold. I bought these at the dollar store as like a little pen. But what's actually in here is it's the Amazing Spider-Man Dice Master. Dice Master plays very much like Quibbler. But it's just kind of like more thematic, and the dice or like the cards are kind of specified to your characters. Like they're not just kind of a community dice per se. So we have this, and I just, because it came, like when I bought this, it came like this, and they're quite flimsy. So I bought these little carry case just to hold everything in. So that's what is in these ones. Then I have two little timelines, and timeline's a cute game with tiny cards. And what happens is you're given 5 cards, I believe, and you put one in the middle, and then you take turns playing a card and adding it to the timeline. And you got to try to maintain historical timelines. So it's like, okay, the invention of the toothbrush. Was that before or after the invention of or different things? So this one is the Canadian version, so it has like Canadian events and inventions, and this one is the inventions version. There's other ones that are like historical events and that sort of stuff, which I kind of want. I really enjoy this little series. Then I also have Mystery Grams and 30-second mysteries, and these are little tin games. I sometimes will bring these when we go to a restaurant and then we're waiting for our food. Mystery Gram will have like he'll have like an image, you know, or it's like, and you're trying to find the hidden meaning inside the. I'll just show you one because I am doing a terrible job explaining this. So you'll have something like this, and you're trying to figure out what does this mean. So you got east, or, and then a bun and a knee, and then the answer is Easter bunny. So it's just a bunch of these, and I do enjoy those quite a bit. So it's kind of fun. We'll play that around while we're waiting for our food, and then by the time the food comes, whoever has the most cards is the winner. Same with these ones, except it has like a really simple 30-second little mystery. It's like, okay, well, so this and this happened, and people came in and took all their furniture and everything that was in their house. And you're trying to figure out why did they do that, and why didn't they call the police? It's like, well, actually they paid them to do that, and then turns out it's like, oh, because they were movers. You know, this just has like something like that. This one I bought secondhand, and it came in this little container, but this is Mamma Mia, which is a Rosenberg game, I do believe. And Mamma Mia is a simple card game where everybody adds ingredient into the middle pile, and then when you think there's enough ingredients in there to do your pizza order, you place a pizza order card. And then as you keep doing this, then what you'll do is you'll kind of flip the ingredients, and then when a pizza order comes up, you take the ingredients that are there out, and then you kind of keep going to see how many orders you were able to fulfill. It's a simple game, but it's really neat, really fun. So Mamma Mia. What else do we got? Sheesh, I packed this one pretty full. Okay, so let's pull these ones. Melbourne, this one, I grew up on this. We played this so much. And basically, you're racing a vehicle and you're playing these speed cards, like these speed, cards, so that you're going ahead, and then whoever reaches, is it 2,000? And the race, basically, then you count your points. But then you can give flat tires to each other, or you make them run out of fuel, or different things. But then you have these trump cards that'd be like, oh, well, I have an, car or tire that cannot, get a flat. So then, and then if you play it when somebody tries to give you a mishap, then they're worth more points. But you could just play it at any time to avoid getting these mishaps as well. It's a neat game. It's, well, it's just, this one has a lot of nostalgia to me just because I played it so much as a kid. So then I have 5 Crowns. So with this one, it's 5-suited card game. Oh, 5 suits, yeah. So it's kind of neat. I've played this one once, and I don't fully remember how it played, but it was neat. I enjoy the card games. So 5 Crowns. And then, oh, I have Unexploded Cows. Unexploded Cow is great. It'll play 2 to 6 players, which is great for my family because we're a family of 6. And what you do is you're like collecting these cows and you're putting them in front of you. And then you roll the dice. And basically it's like these villages in France. The war is over, but there's still mines all over the fields. And you'll send like your cows out. And if your cow explode, the village is so grateful for you that you get a reward. And then all these cow doodles are like cows dressed up in military uniforms, and then depending on which cow explodes, how much it's worth, and you know, so it's a really neat, fun game. Unexploded Cows. Then I have Teach You. So Teach You is a 4-player card game. Like you play, well, it says 3 to 10. Really? How would you play 3 to 10? Well, you know, I've only ever played this in 4 with 2 groups of 2s. So I'll have to see how that plays in the different groups. But it's like a Chinese play. Over 642 million Chinese play Teach You nearly every day. The goal of the game is very simple. Just get rid of your cards. So it's a neat game. And it's one that honestly, like, I've played it with my friend Michael every time I've played this, so I haven't played on my own, so I don't know that I would know the rules, but enough to do on my own. But it's like you're trying to get rid of your cards, and you can do suits, and you can do runs, and you can do like these bombs, and then you've got the dog card that'll do something, and there's different cards for that. This is the only Monopoly game I have in my house. Monopoly Deal. It's a card game version of Monopoly where you're just kind of trading cards, trying to create 3 sets of hotels, I guess, basically on like, or 3 sets of the same properties, so to win. But you'll have cards that kind of changes around that you get to take other people's cards. So my spouse does not like this one because it's mean. Like, this is a mean game. But it was neat. It's fun. And it plays in 15 minutes. So it takes like the kind of the gist of Monopoly, but makes it into a quick, funner game as far as I'm concerned. So Monopoly Deal. And then I have Patronize. So Patronize, when I first saw this one, it's from the world of love letters. So it has like that influence to it, but this is like an actual game. It's a lot more going on with it, and you're collecting different things. And I've played it once years and years ago, so I don't remember all the details, but it was neat and I enjoyed it. And then like you're playing these cards that are worth stuff, but then you're trying to collect these resources as well. So it's definitely more involved than Love Letter is. And then we have Poop the Game. So the original, like I bought Poop the Game and then Poop the Party Pooper edition, and these were like gag gifts to put in the kids' stockings at Christmas. And there's a bunch of variation to this, and it's hilarious. Like if you look over there, this poop has little corns in it. It's ridiculous. This is a ridiculous theme. But it was neat. And then there's all sorts of different variation to it. So like they've made it into a drinking game variation and all the different stuff like that too. This one is Tricks and Treats, and it was gifted to me for my birthday, when I had my first Malcon, so it was quite a while ago. And this is probably the only Halloween themed game that I have, and it's neat. So like you've gone trick-or-treating, it's the end of the day, and the parents are telling the kids, okay, sort the candies so that it's fair for everybody. And you have all the baskets out, and you secretly know which one is your basket, and you don't know who necessarily the other people's baskets are, and you're trying to sort the candies, but you're trying to put a little bit more in yours without getting caught. It's a neat game, and then afterwards you kind of tally up, and whoever has the most candy points, the winner. It's cute. So, and then I have Wizard. So this is a trick-taking game where you're kind of bidding on the tricks that you're going to do. I've played this once, maybe twice. It was funny because I had on my list of, like, I keep track of all the games that I own. And this one was part of my list of games I've owned. And then I was like, oh yeah, I've owned this one. Is like, oh, well, let's play it. And then I'm trying to find the copy. And turned out I didn't own it, but I just assumed I did. So I added it to my list. So I was like, well, that won't do. So I went and got my copy of Wizard. And then Pizza 73 was gifting Uno deck of cards when you ordered a pizza. So we got Pizza 73 pizza for this alone. Now this deck is quite a bit smaller than I thought it was going to be. And all the cards have like these different pizzas on it, but basically it's Uno, just with pizzas. And then what else do we have in here? So I have Sushi Go. I also have Sushi Go Party. I keep this one just because it's more travel friendly. This is one that I like to gift. Sushi is such a great card drafting game where you're trying to create set collection, and the artwork is super cute. It's fun, so that's my travel copy of Sushi Go. And then we have, of course, Uno. So just the regular original Uno. Like I said, we have a lot of Unos just because it's Patrick's favorite. Then I have What the Heck, and this one is hilarious. Like, you have these point cards, and it'll either have positive points or negative points. Whoever plays the highest card is the winner of that card. So when it's a nice high card, you're trying to, or like high in points, you're trying to play a higher card, and everybody gets the same cards from 1 to 14. And you kind of select, put one, and you reveal. Now, if you match anybody else's card, you're eliminated. So you don't actually get to collect the card, which is like, oh, what the heck, what did you play 14 for? So if you're have a unique card, that's the highest card, you collect the card. Now, if it's a negative point, you don't want to win the card. So you're going to try to play your lower card so that you don't end up with this, or is it the lowest card gets it then? I'd have to play it again. But it's one that was so neat. I really enjoyed it. What the heck? And then I have Trash Panda. Trash Panda is like a set collecting game where it's a push luck as well, because you roll the dice and it'll reveal an action, and then you flip that action over to show that you've activated it. And you can roll the dice again to activate more action. So the more action you activate, the more you can do on your turn. But if you ever activate the same action twice, you bust and you actually get to do nothing. So you kind of want to roll so you activate a few actions, but don't push too much. But there's just so you're collecting cards, and you're trying to add these cards into your trash can, because that's where they're going to score, or you can discard the cards and activate the ability that is on it. It's a neat, cute game. One that I like. We've played it quite a few times, and I intend to keep. And then in here, we're getting down to the last few. So I have 77 ways to play Tenzi. And these are these little square cards, and each cards have a different goal as to what you're supposed. So Tenzi, you get, I think it's 10 dice of the same color, and they're really nice dice and really nice colors, and you just roll until you get all of the same number, and then you win. With this one, it changes what you're trying to do each round. So you'll flip a card, and it's like, okay, well, this time you're trying to get all odd numbers on your dice, so then you do this, and it just changes it up every time. So 77 ways to play Tenzi. And then I have, and this one's upside down as well, then I have Chrononauts, which is a card game, and it creates this big grid that has different dates in order, and each player is a time traveler that comes from a different dimension, and you're trying to go back to your own time. But depending on where you're from, you need to have different things, right? So maybe I'm from where JFK was never assassinated, and the Zeppelin never exploded or something. So you've got to try to flip things over so that matches my dimension, so I can travel back home. And there's different things that we're trying to do. So maybe we're supposed to collect a certain artifact as well before we do that and all that stuff. It's neat. It is interesting. I played this once, and my friend made it so that my parents never existed, so I ceased to exist, and I had to start the game over under a different character. It was interesting. Then I have 13 Minutes, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and this is a very interesting game. I've only played the one time, but you kind of have cards, and you decide whether you play on your side, in the middle, and then the other players kind of do the same thing. It's a two-player game, and you're trying to gain control without starting a nuclear war. So you're trying to gain kind of world domination control in a certain way, just to become a superpower country, but not so much so that you would trigger a war. And then the last game I have in here is Dutch Blitz. Dutch Blitz is a speed card game, and you're putting cards down, and you got to match, and you put the numbers in order, and then when it's done, you kind of go over, and you're trying to do your cards from 1 to 13, I think it is. So when there's a 1, you can play a 2, and then but if you go to play 2, somebody else has played a 2, it's like, ah. And then so you're trying to play all of these cards, and you only play with one hand, and then you take it from your kind of to play, and then at the end, all the completed sets, however many cards you have in there, you get points for. It's fun. You could play this with the regular deck of cards where everybody gets different colored cards. Like with the back that looks different. You could play it that way. But then, you know, they have the actual Dutch Splits version cards as well. It's fun. It's just kind of quick, silly fun for a card game. So that's it for that box. Be sure to stay tuned and catch the video for what's in the third box of my game collection. So, bye everybody.